Nerves for Ireland and a few nerves for the two men with bat in hand as well. Rory Burns, who finds himself the senior man of this top three after about half a dozen test matches, with his buddy from Surrey at the other end making his test match debut after a brilliant World Cup. He's in top class form, but of course this a different kind of challenge for Jason Roy, and then Joe Denley at 3. So the debutants for England, Jason Roy and Ollie Stone, and 3 men making their first appearance in Test cricket at home as well.
Yeah, good start from Tim Murtagh on the money as always. It's an opportunity here, I think, Mike, for Ireland with the top 3 in England yet to settle, under pressure with the Ashes just round the corner. You know, it's important that the Ireland opening attack, it'll be Adair at the pavilion end, that they put these guys under a lot of pressure, still trying to establish themselves in the test side.
Yep, Rory Burns will feel that pressure, as will Jason Roy. 5 Ashes test matches to come, so there's a tremendous opportunity for these guys at the top of the order. Tim Murtagh, you look at the speed and you think, well, 75, 76 miles an hour, there's not much there. But then you look at the record, 800 plus first-class wickets at a fantastic average, 25 or thereabouts. And he takes them at 23 here at Lord's. And he'll just be there or thereabouts on the top of off stump, bringing the batsman forward and exposing any chinks in temperament or method, technique. Rory Burns gets away. He was looking for a second, and I think wisely Jason Roy decided that one was enough.
Brings Jason Roy on to strike, and if my memory serves me correctly, I think Tim Murtagh might have got Jason Roy out here in the one-day international between Ireland and England. So Tim will be looking for a repeat, if at all possible. But isn't this just magnificent? You know, it's going to be a packed house here. I think the entire cricketing population of Ireland are here at Lord's to enjoy what is a magnificent occasion.
Yeah, it's not full yet, but it's a sellout, I understand. So it will be later on. It is the most gorgeous morning here in London. It's going to get hot later, and tomorrow very hot, which I think was why Joe Root decided to bat first. It was firmly punched to mid-on right out of the middle of the bat. You reckon William Porterfield wanted to bowl this morning in any case?
I had a long conversation with the captain and vice captain in the middle, and to be honest, they were torn. You know, I think William understands it's going to be tough in the conditions. He saw you know, it's going to be hot, clear skies overhead, but the green tinge in the pitch, you know. And whilst you can't really lose the game in the first session, if you bowl first, it's quite possible that you can if you bat.
Second ball, and Jason Roy gets his test match account up and running with a confident push through the offside. First over done, 4 for 0.
I think England will be looking for Jason Roy to play that sort of David Warner type aggressive attacking role at the start of the innings. And certainly his first 2 shots in Test cricket have been very dominant. And worryingly, maybe even at this early stage from an Irish perspective, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of swing or seam.
Now, there is that tinge of green that you mentioned, but it's pretty dry underneath, and I suspect the groundsman wants to keep a bit of grass on it because of the forecast, which is, as you say, hot today, even hotter tomorrow. So he'll be concerned about that. 5 survivors, if we call them that, from the World Cup squad in this England team. Jason Roy, Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow. Moeen Ali was in the squad but didn't play in the final. Chris Wokes. So quite a challenge, I think, in some ways for those guys. There is bound to be a bit of come down, both emotionally and physically, after a 7-week tournament that saw them go through a bit of a roller coaster ride. But Roy will have his thoughts on other things right now. should have. Mark Adair.
Good start from Mark Adair. Interesting battle here. I get the impression, I don't know Jason Roy very well, but he's a very confident guy, strong demeanour. And he's, you know, Mark Adair from an Irish perspective is very much, you know, in the same ilk, doesn't suffer from a lack of confidence, really full of self-belief, and has made a really good start to his Irish career.
Yeah, supporters at Warwickshire will remember Mark Adair. He's strongly built. He's a bit quicker than Tim Murtagh, looking at 80, maybe early 80s miles an hour. Will hit the pitch a little harder.
Yeah, Mark plays his cricket in the Northern Cricket Union since he's come back from Warwickshire. He's been troubled a little bit with back issues. Unfortunately, at such a young age, to have some metal in there, and it's very important for Irish cricket now that they manage him and they manage his workload. But he's been a very successful opening bowler. Takes wickets, has that knack.
Problem was there, he dropped the towel, which was just hanging out the back of his trousers, which will be needed later on this hot and humid day in London. Umpires today, Ruchira Paliagurage and Alim Dar. Square leg. Paul Wilson in the third umpire's chair today.
Boyd Rankin in a unique position, having played Test cricket for both England in the Ashes some time ago, and now back for the land of his birth, the big breedy man. 348 first-class wickets and a very good average at 26.51. Best of 6 for 55, and what he would give to replicate that over the next 4 days.
Yeah, I saw his debut for England in Sydney at the fag end of what was a disastrous Ashes tour, and A, he looked very nervous on that day, but B, I don't think he was physically 100% fit either, so it was a difficult debut for him. He becomes the first cricketer since the Nawab of Pataudi to play for and against England in Test cricket.
Yeah, he's been a terrific servant for Irish cricket. 35 now, in the twilight of his career.
Wow, that was close, and Roy was just in two minds. He initially looked to play and then wanted to withdraw his bat, but didn't withdraw it quickly enough.
First scare from an England point of view, close to that leg stump. Good areas from Mark Adair.
Oh, it's a no ball. Can you believe it? That must have been out had it not been a no ball. It just looked full and straight. Roy was looking to work it away on the leg side. I think he's been saved here.
Mark Adair has this knack of making things happen. He's doing it already. That was plumb in front from from Jason Roy, and every Irish supporter in Ireland has their hands on their head. Umpire Paliagurage has it right.
He does. Mark Adair, an inch or so. Seven for none, 2 gone. We're going to have a look at that. My, it just looked stone dead, didn't it? And you can see from Mark Adair's reaction. A, immediately after it hit the pad and he heard the no ball call, and now he continues to shake his head. It just looked out to me, full and straight. Roy working across a straight ball. A goner. He would have been a goner.
Yeah, my heart's in my stomach here, Mike. Mark Adair, almost the perfect start from an Irish point of view. A little nip backer there, but it just hit top of middle of leg. Huge disappointment for the young fella. but a little bit of encouragement that the Irish attack will see. There's a little bit in it.
I wonder whether he's bowled here before, Mark Adair. Obviously played some county cricket for Warwickshire. Try and get Benedict on the case and see. Often when you new to a ground, and obviously Lords is idiosyncratic with its slope. If that had anything to do with him overstepping, I don't know, but he'll know. It'll be going through his mind. He'll be replaying that ball over and over again.
Kevin O'Brien. Fine leg. Really is a game of inches, this. It's just come back off the seam. Hit him on the back pad. Plumb.
The umpire's arm was already halfway up, wasn't it? Before it hit Roy on the pad, you could see umpire Paliagurage lifting his arm, and he was spot on, eagle-eyed. Going to have to wait a bit for Murtagh. Mentioned his speeds, which are only mid-70s, and that one was 73 miles an hour. So he's not quick, and Roy likes to get out at the ball. If you were watching the very good analysis that Nasser and Kumar were doing before the start of play, it was all about how early Jason Roy takes the ball, which is fine when it's not moving, more problematic when it is, and problematic against bowlers who are not especially quick like Murtagh. 3 slips and a gully waiting. Has it carried? I think it has, and Roy is not waiting. Paul Stirling, the catcher, a little giggle. He knows it only just carried, and it's that man, Tim Murtagh. He knows the conditions so well here at Lords, and he's got his first today.
Terrific piece of bowling. It's just gone down the slope. Paul Stirling catching it between the wrists. And that no ball hasn't cost Ireland very much at all. Delight for Tim Murtagh. 8 for 1 and a much needed early breakthrough from Ireland, and a great confidence booster for the whole side. They'll enjoy that. Jason Roy departs for 5. England 8 for 1.
Joe Denley at number 3. We've seen an early wicket here for Tim Murtagh. Jason Roy on Test debut, just nibbling at one. That ran down the hill a fraction and ended up in the hands of Paul Stirling. Well, I say his hands, maybe the wrist would be a better description. He seemed to catch it almost between both wrists. It certainly didn't go in cleanly, but it went in, and that is the key thing from his and Ireland's point of view.
Delight for Andy Balbirnie. That wry smile from Paul Stirling. Another guy who feels very much at home here at Lords, and delight for the veteran.
Doesn't matter how they stay in, as long as they do. That one just scuttled a little low, and Denley does well.
Yeah, Paul Stirling, a smile on his face, but he has some big decisions to make going forward, important decisions, and everyone in Ireland will hope that, you know, Ireland is very much a part of his future. It's been the mainstay.
Well, both these two. So just showing, kept a little low. Murtagh, who's coming to the end of his career, but will have to make a decision whether he wants to carry on playing for Middlesex or stay playing international cricket for Ireland. More significantly, I think, for Stirling. Stirling, who is 28 and right in the prime of his career. 8 for 1, 3 gone. Good over from Murtagh. This is what Murtagh does. He brings the batsman forward. He's just asking the question all the time, and there was just enough movement. Down the hill, it ran down the hill. He has been a wonderful bowler for a long time here.
What would Tim Murtagh give for his name on that honours board, albeit in the visitors' changing room? But I think that would be just a massive a deserved honour for somebody who's given so much both to the county, the game, and latterly to Ireland.
Very much so. Born in Lambeth, played under-19 cricket for England before deciding to utilise the advantage of his ancestry and play for Ireland.
And a test match 50 in Dehadrun. Very quick to remind his top order batteries he's an all-rounder.
Well, I'll tell you something. I was sat with quite a few of the Middlesex players early on in the season. I think the very first game that they had at Merchant Taylor's, way back in March actually, it was a freezing cold day. And Tim Murtagh was very quick to talk about his test match 50, and in fact they were looking at the best test match records for Middlesex batsmen, as in test average, and he was right up there. I don't know whether he had the best, but there weren't many better, and there was all kinds of great players that Middlesex have produced, like Dennis Compton and Mark Ramprakash. Murtagh's test average with the bat was as good as any of them. It's come down a bit since then, 45.5 now, which ain't bad.
A little look at Seamers bowling to Jason Roy this morning. Just attacking that sort of, well, 6-stump line.
That's the game in Test cricket. That is the battle for an opening batsman against opening bowlers. That little area around the top of off stump, or maybe 4th stump, 5th stump. And that's the game. The best openers will make the best decisions around those deliveries, what to play, what to leave, what to attack. The best bowlers, like Murtagh, will ask those questions more often.
Adair just getting loose. Last ball upwards of 85 miles an hour, and now looking to take the ball away from the left-hander. It'll be a test of his fitness today. Good stuff from Adair, a product of Sullivan Upper School in Hollywood, and chairman of selectors Andrew White giving him his test cap. Massive honour for a young man with hopefully a huge future in the game from an Ireland point of view.
That's Burns' strength through square leg, and bowlers often see he's got quite a lot of moving parts. They see that front foot sometimes come across to the off stump, and it encourages bowlers to aim at the pads, but he's very, very strong through the leg side. That you have that initial movement. He's quite light on his feet, and he can drag that front foot back and access the ball easily and knock it away through the leg side. So bowlers would be well advised to steer clear of that area and try and challenge his outside edge more often than not. Joe Denley gets away with a thickish outside edge that won't reach the fence, just running up the hill. Twelve for 1. So a rejigged England team because of various injuries, and the likes of Joss Buttler and Ben Stokes opting for rest, which I think is a wise thing after that World Cup campaign. So I'll be very interested to look at Ollie Stone, who gets a test match debut today. He's fast. Jack Leach playing the first test match at home. Oh, bowled again, Murtagh. He's going to be there all day long.
Just using his experience. He joked yesterday on Cricket Ireland TV that he wanted the nursery end renamed the Murtagh end. He has bowled his entire career here, and he's just using that slope beautifully, just bowling top of off stump. Just he'll look to maybe get Denley with a little nip backer. There's some of the Green Army. Irish fans made their way to Lord's. Some Irish rugby shirts. Ireland have had the wood over England, maybe rugby-wise, over the last while. Let's hope maybe our cricketers can do the same. Recognise that shirt from 2007. Ground's filling up nicely.
Well, it's been a dramatic week in Irish sport, hasn't it? Shane Lowry, what a story that was at Portrush. Most fabulous reception he got there, and the celebrations that we've seen on social media and on Twitter in the last couple of days. What a party he's been having.
Yeah, the big joke has been obviously Owen Morgan lifted the World Cup for England. Shane Lowry has won the Open Golf, and apparently the word out there is that we might have an Irish winner on Love Island as well, Mike. So I wonder, can the Irish cricketers make it a sort of quartet of good results?
Indecision from Denley, as there was from Roy. That ball from Roy that went past leg stump is similar from Denley. Not sure what to play, what to leave. Opening batsman, you've got to be decisive around off stump.
Encouraging stuff again from Tim Murtagh. Joe Denley just wary of that ball that might just come back up the slope.
Another testing over from Murtagh. England 13 for 1. Early wicket for Tim Murtagh, 3 overs 1 for 6. Mark Adair none for 7. Might have had a wicket, but overstepped the front line and would have been in receipt of an LBW against Jason Roy. No! Roy's first Test match has produced just a first innings of 5, 11 balls for him. Sitting upstairs now and watching on. Conditions are good. It's hot. Pitch is decent. There's a little bit of movement there, but nothing excessive, you wouldn't say. And Ireland's new ball bowlers so far on the money.
Yeah, it's been a good start from both Tim Murtagh and his young apprentice Mark Adair. I think those Irish nerves will have settled that early wicket, and they just need to relax now and enjoy, have a little look around, and really just, you know, cherish and relish the opportunity that very few cricketers have, let alone Irish cricketers. So
confident drive from Joe Denley, the first really confident stroke of the morning.
excellent shot from Joe Denley. Width from Mark Adair, but good stride out to the ball. Positive. And England's first bounder of the day.
He's going to get another boundary, but Mark Adair shouldn't be too worried about that, and hopefully the captain will encourage him. That's the length you want to bowl. There was enough movement there, and although Denley has picked up back-to-back boundaries, easily mistimed that, and the ball could squirt to gully or point. Early on in a test match, you've got to bring the batsman forward and ask the question.
Yeah, you mentioned the Nick to Gully. I see Simi Singh and Gully Boyd Rankin off the field.
Well bowled. What he didn't do there was get cowed by those two boundaries and drag his length back. He kept pushing it up and drew Denley forward again. Good bit of bowling.
nice reply from Adair. Hopefully Boyd Rankin off the field for something trivial. It would be a big concern for Captain William Porterfield if there's an issue.
That's a good end to the over. 21 for 1 off 6. I mentioned the inevitable nerves, but there are some players pretty feel at home here, wouldn't there? Murtagh's played a lot of cricket here. Sterling's obviously in the middle of a Middlesex career. Balbirnie played for Middlesex. William Porterfield was on the MCC ground staff here for a short while. Anybody else?
Yeah, Kevin O'Brien was on the YCs as well. I read an interesting article by Ger Siggins at home, referring to Middlesex as Ireland's 33rd county. So, right back to the days of Dermot Monteith, who bowled slow left arm here. So it's unfortunate now that with Ireland gaining full membership that link may well diminish. But Irish cricket have the challenge of somehow, we must now nurture and grow our own at home to the domestic game. It's one of the big tasks that lie ahead.
Another Middlesex cricketer, an Ireland cricketer, Ed Joyce, rang the bell this morning, the 5-minute bell. Enjoyed a distinguished career here at Lord's as well. Conversation between Porterfield, who's been captain Ireland now for 11 years, been around as long as the hills. The adjustment made is that he's going to bring an extra catcher in on the offside. He's got those 3 slips and a gully, and he's now brought point from an orthodox position into a catching position.
An interesting position. Andy McBride catching just in front of square on the offside. The Ireland analyst Scott Irvine must have just noticed something in the technique of Rory Burns, former pupil of mine, Grosvenor Grammar School, doing a wonderful job. Has recently just been a part of the group for his 100th game. Kevin O'Brien had a very square, fine leg, with the war paint on. Alan Donald-esque. Doesn't quite have Donald's pace anymore. He's a reluctant bowler these days.
Yeah, he is. Donald was inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame the other day, I noticed. Well-deserved recognition for a great fast bowler.
Kevin O'Brien obviously will haunt England from 2011 in Bangalore, but more impressively, he got 100 on Test debut at Malahide against Pakistan when Ireland were in desperate need of runs, and opened up the game. And arguably, Ireland, when Tim Murtagh got those early wickets, there was hopes that perhaps a famous first Test victory was there before going down by 5 wickets. But an integral part of this side.
35 years of age now, Kevin O'Brien. This is the 3rd Test for Ireland. That first Test that you mentioned at Malahide against Pakistan, and then a second against Afghanistan. What's the next few years looking like in terms? I know there'll be plenty of ODIs. What about Test matches? Is it 11 scheduled for the next 3 years, something like that?
I'd heard 8 certainly in the next 2. Whether they come to fruition, I know one of them was against Zimbabwe. Whether that happens anymore. There's some talk of a Test in Sri Lanka as well. Ireland, the difficulty is going to be hosting them and the expense and the money that it costs.
Oh, it slipped here, Denley. He was just struggling for a minute or two there. As I know to my cost, if you run on the side of the pitch here, where it's green and lush, and then as you turn, it's easy to slip and find yourself in trouble. As I know to my cost. couple from the over. 7 gone, 23 for 1. Nasser.
Just an update on something we did at the morning at the car about Jason Roy's strength and his weakness. The strength in white ball cricket, going at the ball, in test match cricket can be your weakness. A, it moves around more. B, there are slips in, as he found out. I'm going to show you what we did this morning. And you look at the comparisons between Root and Roy, where they intercept the balls for their boundaries. Root on average is there, Roy way out in front. From CricViz, that's 30-centimetre difference between Root and Roy. If I play that on and you'll see the footage from today, you will see that Roy played way out in front and went at the ball. Look at the gap between where the pad is and where he actually intercepts the ball. Way out in front. Compare that to Joe Denley, who has batted in the top order for Kent most of his career. Denley starts out of the crease, but when the ball comes to him, there is no gap there. He plays it late. That is a better technique against the moving ball.
Yeah, very good. Two things, really. One, you're more likely to nick the ball when you play so far out in front, as you said, Nas. The second thing is the edges are going to carry. When you push so firmly at the ball, I reckon if you play that later and more softly, that probably falls slightly shy of Sterling.
I will say also there have been some very fine players who have played out in front. Kevin Pietersen played way out in front with a very similar technique. But Kevin Pietersen
batting
4 and 5, and you know what it's like at the top of the order. That's something Roy might have to work on.
Oh, there's only 3 slips. Had there been a 4th or a 5th, Denley was a goner as well, but this one goes in the gap.
Adair continuing to make things happen from an Irish point of view, taking the ball away from Denley, looking for that gap at cover again. Just gone through 4th slip. More heads and hands from an Irish point of view, but good to see Adair creating opportunities.
Yeah, I said you've got to keep your nerve as a bowler. He'd gone for 2 4s in the last over, but credit to him, he kept pushing the ball up, and he pushed it up there again on a driving length and could have easily had Denley taken. Once again, he's asking the question. This is good bowling. And this time, Denley not tempted.
Just on the drive, anxious look behind him. Kevin O'Brien at 3rd slip, just watching that ball down to the 3rd man boundary, head in the air. But Adair's that sort of a cricketer. He's an X-factor sort of cricketer. He makes things happen with bat and ball.
It's well bowled. I don't think Joe Denley picked that at all, actually. It was the in-swinger from Adair. It definitely hooped in the air. We've seen him so far threaten Denley's outside edge. A couple of 4s have gone to the fence, then a squirted edge through 4th or 5th slips. He's turned it round here and bowled the in-swinger. If he'd have got that on target, on the right line, he'd have been in business. As you can see that Denley's front pad gets in the way and on the line of the ball. Boyd Rankin at Gully. Good to see him back on the field. Let's hope he's okay.
Boyd Rankin in the gully, going down in stages. The Irish coach Graham Ford looking very relaxed on the balcony. Adair just straying into the pads of Joe Denley, who's played that beautifully through mid-wicket, running down the hill for another boundary. The end 8th over. England 31 for 1.
So 8 overs done. Jason Roy, the casualty, the only casualty of the morning so far. Change now. Michael Holding, David Holding.
Another couple. It's been a really good start by Ireland, a special occasion, their 3rd Test match here at Lord's. It's a brilliant day. It's a full house into Test match cricket. midsummer. 4-day game here. 98 overs a day. That'll be interesting. Oh, outside edge. Vastly experienced at Tim Murtagh. It's been really good discipline from Ireland as a team. They've got 3 slips and a gully. The catch is square on the offside. He's deadly accurate, not quick. Good lines. Morning, Mikey.
Morning, Bumble. Hello to all our viewers, wherever you may be. Certainly is a perfect pitch this for this Ireland seamers. There's a fair amount of grass out there, and once that seam hits the pitch, you should get a bit of movement. This is a red ball, of course, not the white ball. The white ball didn't do a lot earlier on this year. He got the ball to do a bit on this pitch.
A lot of excitement about England's top order with Jason Roy coming into the team, but not today. Snaffled at first slip by Paul Sterling. Off Tim Murtagh. Joe Denley in at 3. He's been in excellent form, Joe Denley, for Kent. A couple of big hundreds. Real pace.
England went through a long period, Bumble, trying to find a permanent partner for Alistair Cook. They struggled in that department. There's no longer an Alistair Cook. What's going to be happening now at the top of the order? Because everyone was saying, oh, Jason Roy, give him a chance. Well, there's always a second innings in this game. But what a lot of people thought about his technique showed up again here in this test.
Little nibble there, end of the 9th over, 33 for 1. Mentioned the experience, and the experience of ball here at Lord's. Might be a ploy for England batsmen to bat out of your crease, because he's not going to hurt you with a short ball. Just make him drag his length back. Ability to bowl long periods as well, Tim Murtagh. Yeah, England looking for an opening batsman, and it's Jason Roy now. He'll be given a good chance. And his quest is that transition from white ball cricket to red ball. There'd also be an idea of, well, who does he need to play like? Well, number one himself, but somebody like Sehwag. But it's a little bit different in the UK, where you might get movement on pitches like this one with a tinge of green. But he himself will be excited about that change from white ball to red ball. Well, an effort ball has given us a wide. Comes out at 78 miles an hour.
I think it shows, though, that this is a very hard pitch. Ball really took off, and neither one of these guys have real pace, Bumble, but the harder the surface, the better it is for the bowlers to get the ball to bounce at a reasonable height.
Good swing. I think you're right that there's no real pace in this opening attack, and so most deliveries will be pitched up there like that. Get it up there. You might get driven. The slips are in position. You have a chance of an edge and a touch of movement back. Appeal and given. What a start for Ireland.
Well, he's not asking for it to go upstairs. He's quite happy that he's out. Looked pretty straight, that is for sure. And Mark Adair can now really celebrate. The only problem that could be there is height. That's the only thing. It certainly was very straight. His first test wicket, Mark Adair. He should have had one earlier on. He has it now, though. Joe Denley goes for 23. It's 36 for 2.
Well, a super start by Ireland. Joe Root in at number 4. England winning the toss and batting first on what you would say is a batting day, but the 2 down.
And this is the second. Very upright seam, lands on the seam. As I said before, I think the only problem there could have been is height. But no problem as far as that is concerned. Celebration time. He was extremely disappointed when he bowled that no ball that hit Roy plumb in front. This time, everything is right.
Well, both bowlers have bowled an excellent line and length for this pitch. It's just got a tinge of green, but it is dry. England captain. That's nice. Terrific stuff by Mark Adair. 36 for 2.
No pace from either of these, Murtagh or Adair, but they are pretty accurate. Have a look at that seam again. Very upright seam, but this time the seam is slightly canted towards the slip cordon, and it goes up the hill. Joe Root will want to tell everyone, oh, I played inside the line. Well, he actually did play inside the line, but not purposely.
Tim Murtagh to start his 6th over. Just looking at these 3 slips and a gully, and I think they're doing the right thing, getting as close as possible. We mentioned the lack of pace from Tim Murtagh, but the accuracy. Jason Roy's catch to Paul Sterling just carried. So that will have been a chat between wicketkeeper and the 3 slips there. Get as close as you can. lot of support for Ireland in this Test match. It's such a special occasion. Spectators flocking into the ground this morning. Lots of pictures here for the crack. If there's a Guinness tent, gotta be a Guinness tent.
I don't think people around the world associate cricket too much with Ireland. It's growing, but especially here in England, Bumble, you know that Ireland is very much associated with horse racing. Lots of great jockeys from Ireland, trainers, thoroughbred breeders. And there's a box in the tavern stand with a host of them. Some of them first time to cricket.
Oh, I've got to see them. But Guinness is worldwide.
Yeah, everywhere.
Oh, gone. Terrific again. Look at the discipline. Experience. Get it in that area.
There's a bit of help out there for the Seamers. Very green pitch. It's a brand new red ball. Another edge. But look at the face of that bat again, pointing more towards the onside than the full face of the bat meeting the ball. Well, Bumble, we're talking about Jason Roy. If he would play Test cricket, not too sure Rory Burns has the right technique either. It's 36 for 3.
Test match cricket, welcome back. England 36 for 3. Now then, Johnny. Top order is still a problem for England.
Well, that camera produced that shot is at a wide mid-on, and the face of the bat is pointing directly to that camera. I think that tells the story.
.4 overs, 2 for 10. Lots of markings there from Johnny Bairstow outside of his crease. Is he going to stand outside? Sure is. Now then, he's telling him he can't stand there. I think he's advising him that, let's just think about that. Now that's his stance. Now he may go back, he may not go forward.
Well, the problem is if he does go forward, that front foot may go beyond the 5-foot mark. And it's not just the bowlers that aren't allowed to tread there. Batsmen aren't either.
No, they're not happy. It's not the end of the over. All the fielders are moving back, but the umpires are telling Johnny Bairstow that he's got to go back. Now that's unusual. It's obviously the law. They wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't. Now then, there he is. And so what they're saying is that he's damaging the pitch. It's unusual. You don't see that too often, but he's going again. I'll have to read up on this.
Well, as you said, Bumble, it's the law. It's not just the bowler that can tread beyond that 5-foot mark in line with the stumps. The batsmen as well. They are both part of the game.
What's going on here? He's created havoc since he walked in, Johnny Bairstow. Now I can give you the law. I'll read it out very quickly. An introduction of law 41.15 specifically prohibiting a striker from taking a guard within the protected area or so close that encroachment is inevitable in playing at the ball. It's created mayhem. That's the end of the 11th over. 36 for 3.
Accuracy again from Tim Murtagh.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. What law is it again, Benedict? 41.15. Nice movement.
We were talking about accuracy and control, Bumble. Now, this is a ball that Johnny Bairstow backed away from. But look where it hit. Top of off. That's where they say you should be aiming. Top of off. No pace at all from Tim Murtagh, and of course none from Mark Adair, but accuracy, control. And with the pitch offering a bit, that's all you need really. All you need is enough pace for the edges to carry into the slip cord, and if it's moving.
Yes. Two Yorkshire lads at the crease for England now. Root and Bairstow. He's created havoc since he walked in, Johnny Bairstow. Both umpires were straight away, weren't they, about that encroachment into the danger area. The next question is that if a bowler gets into that danger area a couple of times and does it again, third time, he's out of the attack, what's the penalty for a batsman?
Benny's on the case.
It's an appeal, it's going down the leg side. But it's excellent bowling. Leg buys. You're thinking about it, but no, don't.
I think William Porterfield is saying, yeah, it was going down the leg side, I think. And of course, with the slope here at Lord's, there's every chance of that slope taking it even further down. That's missing leg, you would think.
So coming back to that batsman encroaching onto the danger area, he's given a warning, official warning, and eventually the fielding side would be awarded 5 penalty runs.
Just shows you that this is still a batsman's game. You take off the bowler. He can't bowl again, but all they do with the batsman is award 5 runs. That's one shot.
Is there an inside edge? And they're going to have a little chat about this. Inside edge, maybe. Oh, what's he thinking, Porterfield? Oh, go on. Oh, there it is.
TV umpire to director, we have a review here for LBW. Original decision is not out. Can we start with the front foot, please? That's a fair delivery. Can we go on a front on spin vision? Thank you. Okay, can we just rock and roll that, please, Mark? Okay, can we roll it through? Thank you. Can we go through the ultra edge, please, when it's available? There's a gap there between bat and pad, so we can go through to ball trekking when available, please. There's no bat involved. Coming out now, Rooch. Visual decision not out. Pitching outside off, impact in line. The wickets is hitting. We're going to have to get you to change your decision to out. I'll let you know when you're on screen. You're on screen
review.
now.
There would be two noises. It's two pads. What a day for the Irish.
Oh, yes. Joe Root gone. 4 wickets down already for England. Ireland are having a ball. It's 42 for 4.
Don't miss this, folks. 42 for 4, 12 overs. England winning the toss and batting first. Moeen Ali.
Let's have a look at this again. Well, we heard 2 sounds when we were up here, and more than likely the umpire did the same thing, but the 2 sounds were just a brush on the front pad and then the back pad. No bat involved. I think that was quite obvious, and that is plumb. Umpire must have thought there was an inside edge. Well, some of us upstairs thought so as well. Adair celebrates. What a day for him. He would have been downbeaten when he heard that shout of no ball when he had Jason Roy plumb LBW. Things have changed since, though.
So Moeen Ali, in his last 13 test matches, is averaging 16. He'll keep bowling. Tim Murtagh into his 7th over. And they're having a go again about Johnny Bairstow. Alim Dar is the senior umpire. He's gone down the pitch and both umpires are involved. And he's still there, Bairstow. He has come back a bit.
Well, every time he plays forward, he just gets very close to that 5-foot mark, and that's why the umpires are not too happy. Each delivery, Alim Dar looks towards square leg. Square leg would certainly have a better chance of him knowing exactly where that front foot is than the man straight down the pitch.
It's a good debate, you know, because if it was a spinner bowling and a batsman could come dancing down the pitch, he goes as far as he wants to hit the ball. He can be stood on the pitch. So there's a debate to be had. I suppose it's also saying that, well, the law is specific in where he's starting from. But equally, I mean, if you could stand there for a spinner if you wanted and say, right, I'm going to come down the pitch and hit you on the half volley. You're way down the pitch.
I don't think too many batsmen would do that to a spinner with the wicket keeper up to the stumps, though, Bum. That's the problem. That's why it never occurs when a spinner is operating.
Today, fabulous bowling. England all over the place.
Well, well, well. People were talking about the come down from the World Cup. The 3 World Cup batsmen that have been dismissed scored 8 runs in total between them so far. 1 more to come. Wokes did well with the bat in the World Cup. Well, he needs to do well now in this test. Johnny Bairstow goes without scoring. 42 for 5.
Looks like a procession. Another World Cup man.
Yeah, the last of the World Cup crew coming in now. Just played outside the line, Johnny Bairstow. Big gap between bat and pad. And then he would have heard the death rattle behind him. What a start. Well, Ireland beat the West Indies in Ireland many years ago, but they had them out all night when they did that. Where were the England team last night?
Hesitate to tell you this, Mikey, but Australia are actually playing Australia at the minute down at the Ageas Bowl. They'll be watching this.
Coming up to the end of his 7th over now, Tim Murtagh. 1 made in just 10 runs coming off his bowling, and all of 3 wickets.
Oh, there's another. And gone. Reviewed straight away.
TV
What
umpire
a
director.
half hour.
We have a LBW review. Original decision out. We start with the front foot, please. You got me there, Mark? Thank you. That's a fair delivery. Can we go on front on spin vision? Thank you. Okay, just rock and roll that, please, Mark. Doesn't look like there's any bat involved. Okay, thank you. Can we go through to Ultra Edge when it's available, please? Just waiting for Ultra Edge here, Liam. Okay, roll it past, keep rolling. Okay, just rock and roll again as it goes past the bat again, please, Mark. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can roll through. Yeah, gap between bat. There's no bat involved. Go through to ball tracking when available, please. Pitching outside off. Impact in line. Wickets is umpire's call. You can stay with the original decision. I'll let you know when you're on screen, Aline.
Bell nipper.
You're on screen now. You can signal out. What up?
42 for 6.
Well, I said 3 of them were dismissed for scoring 8 runs. All 4 now World Cup heroes dismissed. Still total 8 from them. 42 for 6.
What's going on? A wobbly seam. Oh, he's got it on a string. 7 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 10. Over to you, boys. Kumar Sangakkara, David Gower.
Well, this is very much do not adjust your sets. 42 for 6 in 13 overs. An hour and 10, just over an hour and 10 of test match play today. Absolutely amazing. Well, the facts and figures rather speak for themselves, don't they? 1 man into double figures, that's Joe Denley. Appear to be a lot of zeros. At least 2 of those men with 0 to their name at this stage have a chance to get off the duck. Moeen Ali, who's yet to face. Sangakkara, who's yet to face. What a story. What a story, Kumar.
It's made it a very interesting test match. Both sides getting what they wanted at the toss. England very keen to bat first. Ireland looking to get some movement and some purchase off the pitch. And it's Ireland right on top.
5 for 6 in the space of 20 balls, 21 balls now. Most extraordinary figures. Murtagh has 4 for 10. When we were talking about this game, in the hour or so we had to build up to the excitement here at Lord's, and it's a glorious summer's day. We were saying things like, well, he knows the conditions. He plays a lot of cricket here, of course, for Middlesex. Does he know the conditions?
For anyone thinking that this test match was going to be just a formality of allowing Ireland an opportunity to play a test match here at Lord's, will have to change their mind. It's been brilliant bowling by Adair and Tim Murtagh. They've used the conditions really well, and both of them are bowling against the slope, and I think it's made life doubly difficult for the batsmen out there. Day before a test match, you'll be thinking about the slope, how the outswinger will react, which side you have to be really careful of, and which bowler can they really nip it back against the slope. And both of these bowlers have done that. They've really set batsmen up by really actually getting them to think about the slope, bowling with the slope here at Lord's, and then once in a while, just for variation, showing the batsmen that they can go the other way as well.
Well, it's an old truism, isn't it? Only needs to do enough. And if there's help out there, on days where there's too much help, you see a lot of playing and missing, a lot of fresh air. This just seems to be one of those days where all the LBWs have been straight, the Knicks have found the edge. Just had that picture of Jason Roy a moment ago on the balcony, playing his first test match. Caught for 5, so at least he can be proud enough he got a bat on it. 3 LBWs, 2 catches either from the keeper or slips. Two Surrey men, 1 current player, 1 former England player, of course, and our batting coach, Graham Thorpe. Consistency of line and length, that has been absolutely the key today. Haven't needed to bowl short, those would be just gentle errors. Length and full, I mean, quite often in Test cricket you don't see so many of that sort of length full, that bracket of full, which is 36% worth there. Comes at the pace, doesn't it? When you've got people bowling, these two basically are bowled at around about 75, 80 to 83 miles an hour. That's 42 for 6 after 14. So the 4 wickets that Murtagh himself has taken, that's a good delivery, it's a good low catch. A great shot from Burns necessarily. Again, a very good low catch this time from the keeper. That finds a way through, as does that. Finger went up straight away. Despite the review, that was confirmed as out. So Tim Murtagh is having a fabulous day. Adair at the other end also.
The pace at which they've bowled have really allowed them to get that control of line and length, allowed them to bowl a lot fuller, allowed them to hit the seam a lot more often. It's kind of lulled the batsman into thinking that they'll just bowl regulation swing away from the right-hander, back into the left-hander just a little bit like that, but every once in a while they've managed to get the angle of the seam right. And they've got the English batsmen reacting to them. A lot of them have gone away from their strengths. They've batted way too far outside the front crease. They've tried to stretch really forward and try and get to the ball. They've played at a lot more balls than they would have. If a bowler is bowling 145, a lot of those balls would have beaten them. They've been a bit late. But here you can catch up with the ball at the pace they bowl.
So as a batsman, it's really tempting to really keep playing at the ball.
Should just add, we've had an event. A run has been scored. Oh, beautifully bowled yet again. What a spell this has been. First Test match at Lord's for Ireland. First Test match at Lord's for Tim Murtagh. And he will now go on the honours board as a man who has taken 5 wickets in a Test match at Lord's.
Incredible moment for Tim Murtagh. He's at his home ground. He's bowled beautifully, set the left-hander up again with the in-swinger early on, and that one just holding and going across against the slope once again, tempting Moeen Ali to play on the ball, and he nicks it through. Moeen Ali gone for a duck, quite a few of them in this English innings. 43 for 7.
The incredible tale continues, and yet another man makes his way out to the crease. This time it's Stuart Broad, who would have been thinking at the toss. It was only almost a couple of hours ago now. Would have been thinking at the toss, oh good, we've won the toss, we're going to bat, I can put the feet up for most of the day. Oh no, yet another edge, a thin edge, comfortable catch behind again. Gary Wilson with the gloves, yet another duck. Great work. Lovely work from Tim Murtagh. An acknowledgement to the crowd of the ball actually that he will be allowed to keep as a souvenir of his 5-wicket haul here. First 5-wicket haul for an Irishman in Test matches. There's a certain amount of raucous laughter around the commentary boxes. Despite having been successful with line and length throughout the morning, the sight of Stuart Broad there, he tries something of a bouncer. One borrowed from one-day cricket at 69.1 miles an hour.
If you're an English batsman, you'll hope that he'll bowl a lot more of those. Line and length has been the danger. Stuart Broad would have been surprised looking at the scoreboard.
That, on the other hand, is full again. That's much more the length we've seen through the morning. Mighty, mighty close. But given not out, no one's thinking of reviewing this. Possibly just pitching outside leg stump. Just straight. Probably missing leg stump too.
Definitely has not been a technical issue with the English batsman. It's just been an exhibition of control ball and just making sure the ball continues to challenge the batsman to make a decision. Decide whether to leave or play, always in the channel, always threatening the wickets and the pads.
Has been very, very good bowling. One or two little technicalities, I think, where if you look at some of the interception points.
I think for Jason Roy, that's the way he plays. He meets the ball well out in front. He talked earlier about trying to play straight, and if you are playing straight, that means you have to meet the ball early, back to the bowler, whether it's in defense or attack. The later you play, the ball runs a little more square. I think the case of defense here in English conditions is always straight or more to the leg side, whereas attack is always square of the wicket.
Big stride forward, which is one of the ways you can try and counter the movement. 43 for 7. So Tim Murtagh's figures at the moment: 8 overs, no need to take him off. 8 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 11. It's a very, very good spell of bowling in anyone's book. Anyone in Test match cricket anywhere in the world would be more than delighted with that sort of spell at the start of a Test match. Might just have to pinch himself.
He would probably never have dreamed of this when he woke up today. Maybe dreamt of it, but never really thought it would become a reality. 43 for 7. Yet told the Irish team that they'll have England on the ropes before lunch. They would probably have looked at you with a sad smile on their face. But right now, they've just proven once again that given the opportunity, given the conditions, they're right up there with the best in the world.
Right, first bowling change of the day. Stuart Thompson at the pavilion end. Starts with the no ball. No pressure. He's just seen his other two colleagues take, what is it, 7 between them in the first 15 overs. He's got to keep up the standard. Doesn't quite time that. It's full enough to play the drive. The outfield will be quick. The slope is in its favour. It's a long, long way down there, but it is a boundary. It's better make sure you remember that. They are possible.
I think it's really good batting from Sam Curran. You need positivity out there, intent to score. 3 wickets in hand. It's no use nurdling and nudging. Minimize risk, yes. Trying to build a partnership, yes. But every time there's an opportunity to score runs, you've got the reverse pressure. Especially with the bowling change, the control might be not there for a few overs here.
It's controlled. There's a gap there to the left of Paul Slip. And again, the pace of the outfield takes it away before. Up comes the 50. At the start of the day, England would have assumed that 50 would be rather more comfortable than this. It's 52 for 7. Now, Sam Curran, of course, rather made his reputation last year against India on exciting fight backs. That's just nibbled again. But he's let it come to him. Just a little bit of movement. So if there is to be a fight back, well, maybe he's the man to engineer it.
Well, the fight back will be all about runs, scoring runs. Looking to put the bad balls away. Trying to make the bowlers change their lengths. The biggest mistake you can do in a situation like this is to try and go back into a shell and try to defend your way out of it. It's crisp judgment. Every time you look to score runs, your judgment just gets better and better and better. Sam Curran, all his innings in a fight back has been about positive execution. Just like that, everything full and straight, put it away, short and wide the same. And you see the complexion of the game changing.
Yeah, it's a little bit too full. No great pace, just 81 miles an hour. Rather floated up there in the way it looked. So Tim Urge's spell started nicely with the wicket of Jason Roy. Burns caught behind, low catch there. Bairstow beaten through the inside edge, past the inside edge. Likewise Wokes, LBW. And then the most recent, the final one so far, Moeen Ali. Bit of a tentative push. Those are really good lengths given the conditions today. And he has been slightly fuller even than Adair.
Yes!
56 for 7. Nasser.
Yeah, you're debating the technical issues of some of the England batsmen playing out in front, but also because of that, the bottom hand taking over. I'll give you Jason Roy first up. Now, he wasn't out to this because it was a no ball. He was saved by the no ball. But look at the way his bottom hand takes over the shot, and he ends up playing around with a closed bat face You know, try and play the ball back where it came from. Joe Denley not as bad as the ball goes past, but look at the way he ends up playing around it, falling over. And then you go to Rory Burns. Look at his bat face at the point of contact, and just after, another closed bat face, and that's why he's nicking it. And then Johnny Bairstow. As the ball nips back in, his bottom hand takes over, and the bat face closes on him and leaves a massive gap. So there are some technical issues. Yes, it has done a bit, but I don't think England have played particularly well.
Yeah, time for a bit of introspection, I think, just to have a look at all these dismissals. Obviously, there is a second innings, and at this rate, it'll be a very important second innings. Wait to see how conditions change over the next couple of days. There's that green tinge this morning, which has obviously helped. But it's hot today, it'll be even hotter tomorrow. Things will dry out very, very quickly.
When you talk about fast bowling, we talk a lot about high pace. Mid-140s and above presents a unique challenge, but at the same time, the lack of pace, slow medium bowlers present their own challenges, and it's been a case today that they've had the English batsmen playing well out in front, trying to meet the ball. None of them really looked settled right throughout that initial phase. Even when Johnny Bairstow came in, he came in and there was a lot going on. There was almost, you know, a little bit of chaos there for a while, batting on the danger area, pulling away as the bowler ran into ball. So mentally, probably not quite focused. It takes a while for any batsman to get into the game. But probably when your side's in a bit of trouble, you need to focus a little bit early.
Well, in terms of settling, I mean, whether it's 90+ mile an hour pace or the ball is doing things, it's a different sort of settling. It can take a couple of balls, it can take a couple of minutes, it can take 20 minutes. If things are happening out there for whatever reason, and you're watching from a dressing room, which is sometimes the worst thing to do, to be honest, getting images in your mind of everything happening, it does take time to settle, and some of these dismissals have come in just in no time. You know, half of these dismissals have been a batsman who've barely taken guard.
Yeah, that actually creates an issue in the dressing room as well. Sometimes you'll be expecting your better players to go out there, settle in and bat a long time, so you might not even be putting your pads on, and all of that creates a bit of, you know, chaos in your mind. You walk in thinking, okay, I haven't really got ready, there's a wicket that's fallen a little too quickly, you're running onto the dressing room trying to make up the time into the middle, and before you can breathe, you have Tim Murtagh running in and landing it on a coin. It's never easy. You have to be ready, whether it's Ireland or Australia. You have to be focused and ready. Were you a batsman who came in and immediately wanted to field bat and ball? Or would you just try to settle in, watch, read the conditions?
Been a while. Oh, that's been chipped up in the air. There's plenty of space there. There's a bit of a gap at extra cover. Didn't quite make it up the hill to the boundary. That will be 2, I'm pretty sure, 58 for 7. Just checking nonetheless. That's fine, absolutely fine. Yeah, all good. I'll come back to your question after drinks, Kumar. So an extraordinary morning, not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. Kumar, I asked me a question, didn't you? You asked me a question about settling in at the crease. I'm trying to remember, but I always found there were days where you settled straight away. And it was a question of seeing the first ball, thinking, yep, seen that, fine, all good. Other days where it could take 20 minutes, half an hour, or never to settle properly, where just things are out of rhythm, out of kilter. Sometimes easier, actually, against the quicker bowlers, because there's a big incentive to be sharp much quicker. The medium pacers, when it's nibbling around like this, which it has done all morning, I'll give full credit to Ireland, they bowl in the right place. When it's nibbling around like this, you kind of don't have time, or you can't really settle, because you're just trying to see what the ball's going to do next. Straight at the man just behind square. But this is what has to happen now. Sam Curran, especially when the ball is over pitch like this, will have a go at it.
Yeah, it's got to be about runs from here onwards. Don't worry about wickets. Don't worry about trying to keep the ball out for too long. That can all fall into place once you make those correct decisions about which ball to attack, which ball to leave or defend. It becomes easier when you're looking to score runs. What you just described there was exactly how I think about timing as well. It's never about just hitting the ball, it's about how you feel. You wake up in the morning, you might be coming off 100 or a 200 or a duck in your previous innings, but it's always a new day. You walk in, you've got to let your body and mind adjust to the pace of play, the pitch, the ball, or the swing seam, whatever's happening. You need to give yourself time. I always walked in thinking I'd nick off first ball or get out LBW, but I had a few processes that I went through from the boundary line to the middle, and by the time I took guard, my mind started focusing in on what I had to do, and I got into a habit of just asking myself one question: what do I need to do for this ball? What does my side need me to do? What's my job here? And it allowed me to focus. I remember 2014, my last test tour to England, my last test match at Lord's. Never having scored 100 here. I was sat up in the dressing room, and all I could think about was just getting out first ball. After all this build-up, after all this preparation, what if that happened? But the processes take over, the habits take over, all the hours in the nets. Just walk in, take your guard, the mind starts honing in.
Is that in essence sort of getting your worst fears out of the way quickly? Because I mean, nowadays there are all sorts of buzzwords. One of the words, of course, which is slightly technical, is visualization. So people will stand out there, seen all sorts of players over the last 10, 15, 20 years doing it, stand out there at the crease and visualize basically getting it right. You sound as though you had these fears that are very natural to all players. Fear of failure, fear of getting out quickly, fear of having a bad day. And I guess everyone deals with it in a different way. But if you get it out of the way quickly, and as you say, let the process, because everything surely is about letting the instinct take over. Once you let the instinct take over, which is what you've trained to do for X number of years, then that's your optimum position.
And that's why you need to trust your training and practice and preparation. Doesn't matter what you do out there in the middle. You have a blueprint you can trust. There's something that you can always go back to. Another really good shot ending up being hit straight to a fielder. 58 for 7.
Prince, you might be down a fine leg. Prince.
For 7, first session of the game. Over 8 is down, but Ireland won't worry about that one little bit. They are having the most fabulous morning of their lives. So Boyd Rankin joins a very, very small club of people who have played both for England and against England in Test match cricket. Nawab Patowdy Senior was the other one. Can't remember the years off the top of my head, I'm afraid. Might need Benny just do some work again. So England in the 30s, the Nawab, and India in 1946. First ball from Boyd Rankin. Good length. Straight. Played his one Test match in the Ashes series, the end of the Ashes series at Sydney. Transpired afterwards that he wasn't fully fit, but it's one of those things you say, well, I'm going to get a chance to play Test cricket, I better play. It was the end of a dreadful series, I have to say that, as far as England were concerned. It didn't go any better at Sydney, but he has height, he gets bounce, decent rhythm.
It can be challenging, quite a different prospect from facing Murtagh or Adair. And watching Stuart Broad, probably would much rather face Murtagh or Adair. And I'm just interested to see how long Stuart Broad will spend here defending and watching the ball as intently. He likes to attack, he likes to play his shots, change in the field. A short leg being brought in, the helmet and the shin pads being run onto the field by a reserve. So we might actually see the attacking batting that we're accustomed to from Stuart Broad. Deep square leg, slightly finer. That's to do with the bounce and the extra pace that Rankin has. And a short leg.
Rather a deep short leg.
Rankin has to be careful here, and Porterfield. Really don't want the bowler running in and bowling too short for too long. Best areas to bowl is still full. Happens oftentimes when a tail ender bats. The attitude of the bowlers change. They just go away from the basics of hitting a good area and really challenging the batsman to try and decide whether to play or leave. The moment you shorten your length, the swing dies, the seam dies down. Makes it easier.
Well, it's beautifully taken. Beautifully taken. The arms are up in appeal. There's no finger going up at this stage. There's a little sound of something, but there appears to be a certain confusion. So,
The director.
let's have a look.
We have a review here for caught behind. Original decision was not out. Can we start with the front foot, please? That's a fair delivery. Can we go to front on spin vision? Thank you. Okay, bats away from the body. Okay, can we just rock and roll that, please, Mark? Okay, it's hard to tell from there. Can we go to ultra edge when it's available, please? Roll it through, roll it through. Okay, there's a spike next to the bat. Ball is next. Just roll, rock and roll with the bat. That's it. Ball next to the bat. Thank you. Okay, I can go back to the on-field umpire. I have to get you a change of decision, Aleem. There's a spike on the bat. Signal out. Thank you.
Well, it was just a little nick, but nonetheless a nick. So Boyd Rankin, short of a length in his first over. It's taken him 4 balls to strike, which is Stuart Broad. A little tentative. Good catch. Had to move nicely to his right, had to take it low. They had to wait for the verdict, but they're delighted at that verdict. So Stuart Broad on his way for just 3. Caught behind is 58 for 8. Long way back, isn't it? A long, long way back. And there'll be some glum faces in that England dressing room today. Just a reminder, it was England who won the toss. Joe Root back in his role as captain of the England Test team, saying yes, we'll bat first. Just a tiny edge. Couldn't really see it as such, but the technology bears it out. You could hear it, just that little faint nick. The arms went up straight away. It is actually a very good catch when you've got to go low into your right like that. You've almost got to think about coming forward as well. Stuart Broad never thinks he's nicked it or that he's out.
And Alim Dar has been reluctant to give Stuart Broad out of an outside edge before. But a great referral. And Ollie Stone walking in with England 58 for 8. A little bit more pressure now on Sam Curran. He's walked over, had a chat. Keep the ball out. That would be his advice. Give me the strike. I'll take over from here. Would never have expected to bat this early on the first day of a test match after winning the toss. Ollie Stone.
Yeah, test match debut. Primary role, quick bowler. Secondary role now, number 10 batsman. Just quick 100 partnership would just help restore the balance a little bit. Very, very tentative, not surprised. It was good length. Good length, full and straight from Rankin, the new man. But he's off the mark, which is better than some.
Yeah, very much on the money. Sam Curran to face the last ball of the over. Rankin might be thinking of pushing a player down onto the square leg boundary. Trying to bowl a bumper, keep him off strike for the next over. That would be the smart thing to do. Bowl a length ball. Try and feed the slip still. Keep that attacking intent going. For Sam Curran, it's trying to get back on strike as quickly as possible.
Well, he's top edged it. It lands safely some distance behind the keeper, Gary Wilson. They pick up 2. Finish off the over with 3 dot balls, a wicket, a 1 and a 2. It's 61 for 8. $61 for 8. Just remember, this is a 4-day game with lengthened hours, so a longer session this morning takes you to 1:15. We have a change in the commentary box. Michael Atherton, Ian Ward.
And just short of being 9 down. Thank you, David. What a remarkable morning of cricket we have seen. Sensational from Ireland. Tim Murtagh brilliant from the nursery end, aided by a little bit of seam movement from this green tinged pitch. Accurate. England perhaps not mentally quite at the races. Ireland utterly dominant. 19 overs and 1 ball we've had. 61 for 8. Probably sliding down the leg side and down the slope. Doesn't look like they're going to have a review. Bit extraordinary.
Well, I was inquiring of Benedict what England's quickest innings have been in Test cricket, because when my side was rolled out for 46 in the Caribbean, I seem to remember it lasting a session and a half at least. 19.1 overs is the answer to it. Oh no, that was the 46 all out. 15.4 overs in Melbourne. 1902 is England's shortest ever innings in Test cricket, so we're past that mark at least.
Well, it did happen quickly in Trinidad then. 19.1.
I thought it was a session and a half at least, clearly. Memory plays tricks.
Man goes out on the leg side on the hook for Curran, who has got to go positive, really. He's got protection on the offside. And he's going to take the run. He's going to take every run on offer. I think Curran has to play positively. It's right for the situation with the batsman he's got at the other end in Ollie Stone, and it's right for him. And the way he goes about his batting, be positive. Look at that card.
The interesting thing of the World Cup survivors, Wardy, 7 runs between 5 of them.
Another appeal, another one sliding down the leg side. I went and spoke to some of the players the other day, a couple of days ago in their hotel, and a lot of the talk was about the mental fatigue and not being able to just park the World Cup and come to terms with what they've achieved. But that's only one side of the coin. Ireland here this morning have been excellent, outstanding from Murtagh, but mentally they're not quite at the races, nowhere near the races. Does it beg a question as to whether any of them should have played?
Well, I don't say this in hindsight because I wrote about it immediately after the World Cup. I would have just told them all 2 weeks off, go and process what happened. If you recall, Champions Trophy final of 2017 when England got beat by India, and 4 days later they were playing a practice match against Essex as a warm-up for the Ashes. Just had no time to process what happened.
Beautifully timed. It's going up the hill, so it should be brought back from the boundary. Curran will scamper through for 3. Keep the strike, 67 for 8.
Other point he made about Murtagh, he's been an incredible bowler, really. There was a tweet that Middlesex put out about a couple of weeks ago when he surpassed Wayne Daniel's record for the club. Wayne Daniel was a great overseas West Indian fast bowler here for Middlesex for many years. He bowled about 95 miles an hour, and Murtagh's chugging along there mid-70s. But it does show there are so many ways to be successful in this game. Now, if you asked any batsman who do you prefer to face, Tim Murtagh or Wayne Daniel, they'd probably say Murtagh, because he isn't going to break your finger or hit you on the head, but he's just as likely to get you out. Incredible record.
He's got 383 wickets at Lords, first class, and now Test match cricket. On the honours board after an hour and 20 minutes or so. Gone straight into Shortleg's hand. Oh, things are rolling for Ireland.
Well, this is terrific cricket. Field is set with a couple of men back and a short leg as well, because Rankin, of all these Ireland bowlers, is taller and will get a bit more bounce. Very different kind of bowler to Murtagh. And Sam Curran has just popped it into McCollum's hands at short leg. 9 down, the most dramatic morning here at Lords. All these things that the game throws at you. 10 days ago you'd think you'd never see anything like it again, and now we've seen 9 wickets in 20 overs. Curran the latest to go for 18.
Well, the home dressing room will be not a place to venture into. Long faces from the captain and the coach and all the players in there. They won't believe what has happened to them this morning. Root won the toss, decided to bat. Of course, there was going to be a little bit of movement because of the nature of the tinge on the pitch, and Ireland have made the absolute most of it. They have been brilliant. Extraordinary contrast from the World Cup final the other day to what we've seen in the 20 overs and 1 ball so far in this 4-day Test match. Jack Leach will not have thought he would have been walking out to bat before lunch this morning when the coin went up, but he is. And England look like they're going to be bowled out before lunch. Quite extraordinary. 2 for 3 for Boyd Rankin from 7 deliveries. Short leg catches go. That's a pretty simple one, but a good one. Not that close, and it was at a reasonable height. Got to be brave to stand in there and stay low, but that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, the distance from the bat, I think, was the key to that catch. He is quite deep, as you say, Ian. He's about 2 strips away, that short leg, so he's got a bit of time to see it. Took it nicely. 67 for 9.
England's lowest score at Lord's, 53 against Australia in 1888. 62 in the same match. What a good game that was. And then 77 against Australia in 1997. And they are 67 for 9. How's that for a batting performance in 1888? 53 all out.
Well, I was going to
out.
talk about the one in 97 because I played in that game. I was captain, and it had rained for the best part of 2 days. Mark Taylor won the toss, put us in, and Glenn McGrath, typically, bowlers out had a fabulous record here. But it was after a couple of days of rain, very different kind of circumstances to today.
So they keep the leg gully and the short leg for Ollie Stone. Well, if they're bowled out before lunch, England, it'll be the 4th time in 3 years that has happened. They've been bowled out within a session.
Trying to think of those occasions. Dakar, I remember, all 10 in a session. Auckland, absolutely, 58 all out, and then Trent Bridge against India.
Yeah. They lost 9 in a session. Benedict's just reminded me in Bridgetown, a recent tour to the Caribbean. An amazing procession. Don't forget, 4-day test match, so scheduled lunch is at 1/4 the hour. They can extend that because England are 9 down. If the wicket falls before 5 past, or at 5 past, I should say, they will take lunch. $69 for 9. What was it like in a dressing room when you bowled out for 40 odd? Give us a unique insight.
Yeah, well, I seem to be talking about a lot of occasions when England bowled out cheaply when I was playing. That 46 all out, Graham Thorpe was playing as well, who's now the batting coach. And Mark Ramprakash was the previous batting coach. Nasser was in that squad, albeit not in the game. It's a kind of panic that envelops the dressing room. Inevitably there was a run out involved as well. Mark Ramprakash was run out in that 46 all out, which just about summed it up. So just a flurry of bodies and movements. People are diving into their kit bags to get their thigh pad on and box on. The bowlers, suddenly they thought they'd get the feet up for a while, taking a shower, and then all of a sudden you're 5 down and they're scrambling around for the kit.
They're probably all having a leap over your kit, which would have been strewn to all corners of the changing room.
Oh dear. Like a virus that goes round, really. One of the men who's not been selected in this game. I thought that was the right decision as well. England are not short of all rounders. Lewis Gregory's having a fine season for Somerset. He was in the squad.
Nicely done. Behind square on the offside, and will run away for 4. 7th boundary of the innings.
And most of them have come, you know, off the front foot, and that's a measure of how well Ireland have bowled. What they've done really well this morning is get batsmen coming forward, and they'll have leaked 1 or 2 boundaries. I think of Denley hit a couple through the offside, just like Ollie Stone there. But when there's a bit of movement, you're in the game. If people are forward and driving and going hard at the ball, the bowlers are in the game.
That's a better shot. That really is high class. Beautiful on drive to the fence in front of the pavilion. Staying into double figures. He's got more runs on him on his own than England's World Cup members. We've had contrasting days compared with that famous Sunday.
The shot of the morning, actually, that from Ollie Stone. Not a great deal of choice, mind.
Small sample size, as Benny would say. Been a venue over the last couple of times we've been here for the slower seamer. You think of Tim Murtagh and Colin de Grandhomme as well for New Zealand in that World Cup final. Pitch it up on a length, hit the top of off stump. Well, another glorious shot, this time through extra cover. Third boundary of the over. England go past 80, 81 for 9. Stuart Thompson has not quite kept the pressure up as his captain and teammates would have wanted. He's bowled 4 overs, 1 made, and none for 30. Just a little bit too floaty. The balance between hitting the pitch hard on a length and getting it up there and floating it.
Yeah, just a lack of movement from him. Other bowlers, Adair, Murtagh, obviously bowling that kind of length. There was enough movement to threaten the edge of the bat. Thompson's been a bit more up and down.
Catching the eye of Jack Leach behind the arm of Boyd Rankin. The crowd can quite believe what they've witnessed here this morning. Some jubilant Irish cheers when the wickets have fallen, but in between that, real lull. Those 4 wickets. That middle period as well, 42 for 4, 42 for 5, 42 for 6 and 43 for 7. But again, the start, how often do we see England 30 for 3?
So those young boys in the crowd there, and I'm sure there are lots of kids watching, and they'll be saying to themselves, how can the game do that? How can go from batsmen smashing the ball around in one-day cricket to suddenly being 81 for 9? Of course, is the beauty of the longer form of the game, the different challenges that it throws up. Red Duke's ball that certainly moves more than the white Kookaburra. The biggest thing to understand is that there is a price on a wicket in a test match that there isn't, certainly in T20 cricket, and less so in 50 over cricket, and that just makes life a bit different. Quite so easy just to come out and play with the same kind of freedom when you know that a wicket really matters. When you lose your wicket, really matters in a 5-day game.
Interviewed Jason Roy before this test match and was talking to him about the different challenges he would face. Didn't bring up that point you make about valuing the wicket, but simply said the balls, well, yeah, obviously they're red, but they are significantly different in their characteristics, and England have asked for the same spec as last summer when they took on India and the ball zipped around everywhere. Might have overcooked it.
Have you seen the scores in the Aussie practice match at the moment yesterday at Southampton? Wickets tumbling everywhere.
going to be fast forward Ashes cricket, isn't it? Good one to finish the 23rd, 81 for 9. So lunch will now be taken should the wicket fall in this over. Lunch can be extended. It's by half an hour, so that makes an incredibly long morning session. Lunch should be at 15:15 the hour. Does it have any bearing on the Ashes, what we're seeing here? I mean, England want these balls that are moving around. We're hearing they might want a bit of grass on the pitch. Is that the right way to go?
Well, it's been the way England have gone in the last few years. Two things, really. They've played to the strength of Broad and Anderson. They're two great medium fast bowlers, swing and seam bowlers who've taken, what, nearly 1,000 test wickets between them. And secondly, they've played to the advantage of having a long batting lineup. Not that we see it here at 81 for 9, but generally England's 5, 6, 7, 8 have pulled them out of trouble time and time again, and that's why they've been happy to play on bowler-friendly pitches. I suspect that's the way they'll go in the Ashes as well. Mark Adair back, had some success earlier in the day. Joe Denley was his first LBW, looking to work to leg. And then root, which many of us thought he'd hit. There was a double sound, but it was the ball hitting front pad and back pad, and that was an excellent review from William Porterfield.
A little tempter. Yeah, the wicket of Joe Root will keep the Australians interested. I was reading an article that Ricky Ponting, well, he'd given an interview to one of the websites in Australia, and that was sort of what he was intimating. They were going to target Root if he falls across his stumps. He's done that a few times in the last couple of summers. Broad will have his bowling boots on a lot earlier than he would have thought. So I interviewed some of the players the other day, and Stuart Broad had said, and Joe Root's come out and said that they have talked about how the guys that are just playing test match cricket, i.e. him and Jimmy Anderson, for example, need to pick up some of the slack from the guys that will probably be jaded after the World Cup, go the extra yard, even if that was media commitments or sponsor commitments. His day job has come round a lot quicker than he would have thought after the toss went up at 10:30. Floater, attempter, and Stone has crashed that one to the fence. That's his 4th boundary. He goes to 19.
Second top score, Ollie Stone on debut. Denley leading the way with 23, and now Stone just nipping past Sam Curran. They've got good odds on that, I reckon. Ollie Stone to be top scorer before lunch. First morning of the test.
It's all over off the elbow, I think. Adair has 3, but England have been skittled for 85 from 23 overs and 4 balls before lunch on the opening day.
Fantastic morning for Ireland cricket. Led by Tim Murtagh. It's Mark Adair who finishes things off with a lively delivery that comes back onto the stumps off Ollie Stone's back elbow. What a morning this has been for Irish cricket. Joe Root winning the toss, England batting first, but find themselves whistled out for 85 in just about a session, 5 minutes before the scheduled lunch break. A fantastic performance from this 4-pronged Irish pace attack, particularly Tim Murtagh, who bowled outstandingly well with the new ball, backed up by Mark Adair and Boyd Rankin. They will wait for Murtagh, 37 years young. He's going to lead this Irish team off on what he considers his home ground. He's had a long and distinguished career here for Middlesex, and he's going to remember this moment for a long time to come.